In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Brahma Jyoti, or the glowing transcendental effulgence, is resting on Lord Shri Krishna. In other words, the glowing effulgence known as Brahma Tejas is nothing but the rays of the Lord. Just as the sun rays are rays of the sun disk, so this Brahma weapon also, although materially irresistible, could not surpass the supreme strength of the Lord. The weapon called Brahmastra, released by Ashwathama, was neutralized and foiled by Lord Shri Krishna by his own energy. That is to say, he did not wait for any other's help because he is absolute. So we are discussing from this chapter, first canto, prayers by Queen Kunti, and here we are coming across a narration in which the incident, which was very unfortunate, which happened after the battle of Kurukshetra. Ashwathama had released Brahmastra to kill the child within the womb of Mother Uttara. And the child's name, we all know, was Maharaj Parikshit. So here in this verse today, it's been addressed to Shaunaka Muni that although the supreme Brahmastra, weapon released by Ashwathama, was irresistible, without check or counteraction, it was neutralized by none other than the Supreme Lord, Krishna. Prabhupada brings up a lot of important points in the purport. In this world, everyone has got some karma, to undergo. But we can transcend that karma by taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uttara, without hesitation, directly approached Lord Krishna for protection. She didn't even hesitate for a moment. As soon as she felt that there is something wrong happening, she could not think of anyone else other than Krishna. She immediately approaches and makes the prayer to save the child within her womb. And Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I'll protect my devotees in all circumstances. He won't be vanquished. That's the statement of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So what is required from our side is very simple. We have to simply take shelter of Lord. That's what is expected. Then we can give up all the sinful activities. By getting taste from the higher side, that is Krishna, one will be able to give away the lower taste. So we have to first approach the higher taste, and then we can slowly give away the lower taste. So it calls for a sincere approach towards Krishna consciousness. Without that, it's not possible. We should always try to remember Krishna. Not just 80% or 50% of the time, no. 100% absorption is required. And it's not impossible task. If we can do 75, 50, 80%, why can't we do 100? It's just a matter of we making a decision. It's just a question of giving up the bad habits. Our conditioning is so strong that we just want to enjoy ourselves. So what is required to immediately think is how to engage the object of senses in Krishna consciousness. That's what we need to do, that exercise. We can't just keep ourselves away from sense objects, can we? No. Because we are in this material world, we are dealing with sense objects. So what is required is, we should be thinking how to engage them in Krishna's service. Otherwise we'll be caught up in Maya. That's what's going to happen. This is Kali Yuga. We have to be very mindful of the Yuga. We can't afford to take chances here. It's very risky if we want to take chances. So our real self-interest is to serve Lord Krishna, and then we can be confident. So, the message here in this verse is Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana Kuri. Krishna's protection is always there. Have faith on that. That's what we are seeing. Uttara had that confidence. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. She had that Vishwas. And she went, approached Krishna for that matter. So Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken to a personality like Parikshit Maharaj, who was at one point of time himself within the womb under great threat by Brahmastra, weapon. The intention was to kill him, in fact. And same Maharaj Parikshit, in fact, hears Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are also hearing through him. So it is said that for a child, the womb of the mother is the most protected place. For a child, womb of the mother is the most protected place. But in Kali Yuga, there is no protection, even within the womb, for the child, because of child's bad karma. Sometimes they are killed. We have come across people doing that. Why Parikshit Maharaj had to undergo this experience? Of course, he had undergone an experience here of a life-threatening situation. Pure devotees, whatever happens in their life is directly planned by the Supreme Lord. We have to understand this. It's not like how things happen in our life. For pure devotees, Lord is in direct control. So there is a purpose behind all that, what happens. And the Lord is very eager to protect His pure devotee in any circumstance. Paritranaya sadhuna, vinashaya cha dushkritam. More than killing the demons He need not come here. He can do that with His energy. But paritranaya sadhuna, protecting the devotees, is something which gives ananda to the Supreme Lord. He takes pleasure in that. So Supreme Lord takes special ananda while protecting devotees. The Supreme Lord is situated in every living entity's heart as Paramatma. Even in the heart of Ashwatthama, who actually shot that weapon. Even in the heart of Uttara, Lord was present. Even in the heart of Maharaj Parikshit, Lord was present. And Lord Brahma says, Lord is present in Andantarastu Paramana Chayantarastam. He is present even in the atom. That's the situation. So, this Paramanu, this Brahmastra is consisting of several Paramanus, several atoms. So obviously he is there inside that also, the weapon itself, which was shot. So, for Supreme Lord, he could have dealt with this Brahmastra in various ways. One way he decided was to go himself inside the womb and protect Parikshit Maharaj. Well, he has various ways of doing that. He could have dealt with it in multiple ways. But he thought of doing it in a particular manner of his choice. Sometimes it is asked that you always talk about Supreme Lord coming directly, protecting the devotees. Why he has to do that? If he is so powerful, if he has so much of strength and resources, he can as well manage through them. Why he has to come personally? And in this regard, you all must be familiar with the story of Akbar once asking Birbal that why you have so many gods and your Supreme Lord always comes down personally to protect his devotees. It looks like he is not having many servants to carry out his orders, just like me. You see, I am a king. I have got so many servants. They will take care of my instruction. I don't have to go in particular. If some citizen is not doing well, my servants will take care of that. Why do I have to go to do the things? And then, as usual, Birbal doesn't reply immediately. He takes his own time, and there is a situation when it happens, he will make Akbar realize what was wrong in his philosophy. So it so happened, Akbar was traveling in a ship with his entourage, family members, and Birbal was also there. So in the middle of the river, he just pushed his daughter into the river. Seeing this, Akbar was startled, he was thinking, why did he do this? And he knows back of his mind that there must be some reason he doesn't do anything like this. So why did he throw my... Okay, now the next thing which had come in Akbar's mind was how to protect my daughter, and he jumps without even considering his position of a king and all that. He just jumped and saved his daughter, brought her back. And then he asked Birbal, what was the message? Tell me the message. There was some message was there, definitely, I can be sure of that. And then Birbal said that, my dear Lord, you have so many soldiers and ministers and all are traveling with you in this boat. Why didn't you tell them to jump and protect your daughter? Why did you personally go into it? And then he could understand the question which he had asked. Why does the Supreme Lord personally comes down to protect his devotee? So, Supreme Lord personally protects his devotees. This is what the point which we are hearing here in the purport also Prabhupada is mentioning about that. That he appeared in the womb, he protected Maharaj Parikshit. When he appeared in the womb, he was in the Chaturbhuj form. Shankha, Chakra, Gada and Padma. He had come in that form. And it is said that for demons, Chakra and Gada is there. And for the devotees, Shankha and very auspicious Padma. He comes all prepared always. Any instance to deal with, he is there. So, and his eagerness is very important to come down to protect the pure devotees, to protect Parikshit Maharaj in this case we are seeing here. We just want, what the Supreme Lord wants from us is to just take shelter of Him, surrender to Him. This is what He is expecting, nothing more than that. And so, if you do that, the Supreme Lord is as Super Soul, as Paramatma, who is seated in all of our hearts, is very eager, waiting for our surrender. And He has been waiting since time immemorial. In this material world, we have been changing various bodies, and Paramatma is still there with us. And He is just waiting and waiting and waiting. When will you all decide to surrender to Him? So we rejected Him, and we have come here. But the Supreme Lord has never left us alone. Once a devotee was sharing this, he had an experience with a person whom he had met. And the person, seeing devotee in saffron dress and all that, he was impressed, and he said, in fact the whole interaction was in Hindi. He said, "Aapse bada tyagi kaun ho sakta hai? Who can be a greater renunciant than you? आपने तो सब कुछ छोड़ दिया. You left everything. अपने घर छोड़ दिया, अपने परिवार छोड़ दिया. आप धन्य हैं." And then the devotee said, "मैं तो कहूँगा आपसे बड़ा त्यागी कोई नहीं हो सकता. Nobody can be a greater renunciant than you." He said, "What did I leave? I am still in this material world. I am still with my family. I am doing all kinds of things." He said, "No, you have renounced Krishna." And who can be a greater renunciant than you? You have renounced Krishna and you have come here in this world. So, we have rejected Him. But the Lord, as Super Soul, He is always with us. He has not left us alone. Only Supreme Lord can give us protection, complete protection from the dangers of this material world. He can only do that. Brahmastra was so powerful, as Prabhupada is mentioning here, irresistible. What are the words he uses? Irresistible, without check or counteraction. That is the power of Brahmastra. So powerful. But then, Prabhupada writes in the purport that Supreme Lord is He is the very source of Brahma Jyoti. He says that. He is the very source of Brahma Jyoti. And so this weapon, Brahmastra, could not surpass the supreme strength of the Lord, the Brahma Jyoti. Brahmastra was neutralized. That is the word Prabhupada is using here. In other words, the glowing effulgence known as Brahma Tejas of the Lord, Brahma Jyoti, is nothing but the rays of the Lord, just as the sun rays are the rays of the sun disk. So this Brahma weapon also, although materially irresistible, could not surpass the supreme strength of the Lord. So it's very clear what had happened. So, in sadhana bhakti, we are making an effort to take shelter of Lord Krishna. Cheshta is there from our side. We are making certain effort to surrender to Krishna. And we should be very clear on one thing. Why we have to take shelter of Supreme Lord Krishna? Why we have to take shelter of the Lord? In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhava narrates why we should take shelter of Lord Krishna. Why and he gives his own reason, and then he says, what are the qualities in you? For that reason I have to take shelter of you. Mentions that in that verse. I think it's in the 7th chapter of 11th canto. Uddhava lists some 5 different kinds of qualities which you have. See, if I have to surrender to a master, I should know what qualities he has. Is it not? whether he can give me protection, what kind of a person he is. We will not be just blindly going and surrendering ourselves. So Uddhava makes it clear. Why he personally feels, Uddhava is a pure devotee of the Lord. But then he explains why he had decided to take shelter of the Lord. So those qualities, Uddhava, first he says that, "O Lord, I am feeling tormented." The word he uses is, "I am feeling tormented by the distress in this material world." I don't know how many of us find this, resonating with our situation. Maybe we are happy this place. But at least Uddhava didn't feel like that. He said, "I am distressed, I am tormented in this material. The heat is there too much," he said. We are not feeling that much heat here now, no? There's a lot of fans and pleasant weather outside. Some of us are wearing sweaters here. So where is the heat, Prabhu? Why is Uddhava feeling that heat of this material world? But then that's what he is experiencing, and he is sharing that's the situation of mine, he says. I don't know about others, but at least I can talk about myself. So Uddhava says this, that why do I surrender to you is because you are a perfect master. He says that. You are the perfect master. You are, second he says, you are unlimited. Third he says, you are all-knowing Supreme Personality, omniscient. All-knowing Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he says that your abode, which is Vaikuntha Loka, is free from all distress. He explains in that way. And then he says that you are known as Narayana. Means, he says, you are the friend of all beings. Narasakha Narayana. Means Narayana means even Narayana is taking shelter of you. And you are a Narasakha. Means Nara is human. You are friends of all living beings, he says. Nara and Nara is two different words, which is being used in Sanskrit. So Lord gives shelter to even Vishnu, and he is also a friend of all living beings. So Uddhava first explains about his situation. He is tormented. Davagni means there is a lot of fire in this material world. Davagni is trying to come out of that. He is feeling the heat, and he is asking that, please, I want to take shelter of you because I see that you are perfect in all matters. So first thing what he said was perfect, and this anavadya, that is the word being used, anavadya, perfect. Then he said anantaparam, means you are unlimited. This is the word he uses, anantaparam. Then sarvagna. Sarvagna means all-knowing, omniscient Lord. Then he said akuntha. Akuntha means undisturbed by any force. You don't get disturbed by any force. And then he says Vaikuntha, means the place where you live is free of distress. And then he says Narayana Narasakham, means you are friend of all living beings. So this material world, the master don't even know what's happening to the servants. They don't even know. If you take the example of employee-employer relationship, how many of the employers or masters know what's happening in the employee's life? They don't even care to know about that. If the servants are in trouble, he may not be aware. But Supreme Lord is not like that. He is aware of the situation, every moment, what's happening. Supreme Lord responds. He responds immediately to the distress call of his devotees. You are in distress, if you call for him, he is there. You remember the example of Gajendra? It's a classic example, Gajendra's case. When Gajendra called for Supreme Lord's name, he appeared immediately. It didn't take much time for the Lord to first do a GPS check on where is he actually, which location. If he had to take so much, by the time this crocodile would have eaten the whole Gajendra. But then he was instantly there at that place. No location check or nothing. Because he is always aware of what's happening, where we are all situated. We may be finding it difficult to trace our dependents, where they are, what they are doing and such things. But for the Lord it's very easy. Being Paramatma, He is seated in all our hearts and He is observing, Upadashta Anumantascha. He is observing, He is the observer and He is the witnesser, He is the sanctioner. That's what Krishna Himself declares in Bhagavad Gita. So it is said that before even Gajendra could finish pronouncing the name of the Lord, that's how it's been explained. Before he could even finish pronouncing the name of the Lord, Lord appeared. Can you imagine the eagerness of the Lord to come to rescue His devotees? The whole name itself was not fully uttered, but then before that, the Lord appears. He is omniscient. That shows that He is omniscient. He could understand that His call is for me, and I have to be there to rescue him. And Supreme Lord has got the strength also. He has all the powers to protect His devotees. Like in this case, Brahmastra also He could counteract. So, in this world, we are trying to depend on our family, we are trying to depend on our society. Where are we looking for protection? Immediately we look for in our family somebody can protect. Gajendra in fact had to go through this experience. He did what not for the family, and it kept them in nice situation. But then when crisis came, all the family members are away. They said, you deal with it. I'm sorry. You want me to also come inside? And then if this crocodile leaves you and catches me, then what will happen? So they were very careful, and they said that try your best to come out of that situation. We'll be watching you. That's the kind of thing we can do at the most for you. That we'll be standing far and be observing you. And imagine, in this material world, we have such faith on these people, everyone. We think that they are our protector. Father thinks son will protect, son thinks father will protect, and like that the protection chain is so big. Somebody is thinking that the country will protect us, the nation will protect us. So at various degrees we are seeking protection. But at the same time, we understand that the distress continues to be there and we remain helpless. Even though we have so-called protection around us, what happened was, in the case of Gajendra, we were helpless. He was helpless, we were also helpless. The only person with all the strength is Bhagavan. He can only do that. Full-fledged protection He can give. So if we are complacent, we don't prepare ourselves. We can prepare ourselves in our life for that final exam by taking shelter of Krishna. Sarva dharman parityaje. But before that, it is also said that satsanga, Satsanga is very important. We have to take shelter of association of devotees. Association of devotees. By taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Not just reading as a scholarly, study. We should not be attempting that. We should think of taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam and not try to be a scholarly person, just trying to understand words, technical things and this and that. So if we don't feel serious need, then we don't take shelter. If we are thinking what all things we discussed just now, that he will protect, she will protect, and I have a way to figure out things in this world. If these are the ideas which are, and then Krishna will say, okay, I'll wait, because I have been waiting. So one more birth doesn't matter. And if you still want to continue, I'll still be waiting. That's the situation, Yeah. So you can take shelter, you cannot take shelter in a complacent mood. You can't take shelter when you are feeling solace from so many other things in this world. You will not take shelter of Krishna. If there is some anchors here and there and we are feeling solace in many, many things in this world. That's the reason many a times when people come and meet us and they'll say, Prabhu, it's very difficult. What is difficult? It's very difficult to, be like you. I said, what did we do that is so difficult for you to? And he says, so much of comfort and thing is there outside, and you all have left and come. It's very difficult. We are seeking comfort in all those things. That's the situation. Now we are all hearing Bhagavatam class. The very moment we go out, we'll forget all this. And then we will be seeking shelter in many, many things, not Krishna at all. Krishna is a very difficult thing. We would have already made up our mind that, okay, by the way, if it happens, well and good, but I will not make any personal endeavor for it. If it happens, Bhagwan ki ichha. Sab Bhagwan ki ichha hai. Bhagwan बुलाएंगे तो हम आएंगे. First you have to desire, no. भगवान तो बुलाने को, वो तो आपको यहाँ से ले जाना चाह रहे हैं, आप तो जाने को तैयार नहीं. You want to stay here, this place. So many times, people have this kind of notion, but we have to understand from Bhagavatam that if we don't feel serious need, then we won't take shelter. We have been serving our senses for quite some time. We have been serving our lust, we have been serving our anger, our greed. All these things we have been serving. So much, still they are not kind upon us. Are they showing any mercy? No. They are saying, do this again, continue to do this again. This is the master whom we have surrendered. This master is not happy. He says, you have to work more. I am not happy with the situation here. So now that you all have this intelligence, Prabhupada says that now that you have this intelligence by your grace, whose grace? Guru's grace, Krishna's grace. Guru Krishna Kripa Paaye Bhakti Lata Beej. Yes. By the grace of spiritual master, by the grace of Lord Shri Krishna, now I have come to you to serve. Kindly engage me. now this intelligence is prevailing, so I have come to you, my dear Lord. I want to serve you. Kindly engage me in your service. I have understood the comforts outside, what it can do. So this requires little intelligence in order to understand this. Otherwise, we'll be just going on with our business. This is surrender actually. So Krishna consciousness movement means we have to act everything for Krishna. Under whom? Under the guidance of the spiritual master. We cannot manufacture our own things, that I will do things in this way for Krishna, or I will do that in this way for Krishna. No, we don't manufacture anything here. Already the instructions have been given. We simply have to follow that. Methodologies are there. If you follow, results will come. If you follow the process, results will come. That's what everybody has experienced, and that's what they are also asking us to do. And if we do that, we'll get the benefit. So, Krishna is the perfect master. And our position is no better than Uddhava. Uddhava was a pure devotee. We are in a very bad situation in this material world. He felt the heat. He felt tormented. He felt distressed in this material world. And so, we have to understand, Uddhava himself is making this statement in Bhagavatam, that the reason why I want to surrender to you is this. And if we are able to understand that, we will be, you can say, it's a great thing if we can understand and surrender to Krishna. So we have this position, we are in the present position, what we are is not so good. It's sooner the better if we can make this decision and not just simply wait for something to happen. Some hope against hope. This is what is the material world. We are hoping against hope. So, therefore, Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. The way Uttara took shelter of the Supreme Lord, without having a second thought, without hesitation, and reciprocating to her call, the Supreme Lord rushed for Parikshit Maharaj's protection from Brahmastra and nullified it. So these are examples in front of us what we will gain if we shall take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So we should all take shelter of Supreme Lord now. Not that we wait for one more year or 6 months, and we should immediately take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So that we don't have to go inside any other womb. For that reason. Because if I go inside any other womb, again I have to go through the miseries of life. Birth, death, old age and disease. Adidevik, Adibhautik, Adhyatmik, kleshas. It will not spare us. It will just come. So if we have to make a plan, we have to make it now. So that we don't have to take one more birth here. We don't have to go into any other womb. And then there is a risk. If we are having a bad karma, then the mother will kill the child within the womb itself. We don't require Ashwatthama. You don't have to get any Brahmastra and all is not required now. The mother themselves will decide. The family will decide. Is it the right time to have a baby, or we can do away with it? And you will be listening inside. What are these people planning? They don't even care for me. Yeah? So that's the situation. So understand this. This is a reality which is there. Shastras are trying to awaken us from this slumber which we have got into. So the easiest path which has been given to us is chanting the holy name. Who has given? None other than Lord's own incarnation, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has given us He has shown us His mercy. He has given us the easiest path of wherever we are situated, in whatever situation we are, just chant the holy name. That's the way in this age of Kali. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Simply chant. And then all protection is there. That's what Shastras are saying. We have to simply follow. That's what our Acharyas have experienced. That's what the Acharyas are asking us to do. And if we just do that, we will get rid of all this situation we are into now. So, Lord is very eager to give us His kripa, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very eager to give us His kripa. But the question is, are we ready? Question is, are we serious to deal with this situation? If we are not, then Shramayeva hi kevalam, simply will be endeavoring in this world and no results is going to come. One more birth, one more death. So, I'll stop here. Any questions or comments? कोई प्रश्न है? सबको समझ में आ गया? How to surrender? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has asked us to just chant. Very simple, anywhere, any place, regardless of what is the situation. Just if we can chant the holy name. Prabhupada has asked us minimum 16 rounds we should chant. If we have time, we should chant more. Take shelter of the holy name. That's what is required. Yuga Dharma. Other things will automatically happen. If we are taken shelter of the Lord's holy name, service, all other things are byproducts. It will come. Holy name will engage you. It's very unique thing. How the uttering of the Lord's name will engage me in His service. That is something which you have to experience by doing it. If I say, you won't understand. Because it's my experience. It's XYZ who have experienced it. So, if you follow the process which has been recommended for this yuga, you will experience that. Devotional service, first thing is chant the holy name, because Prabhupada has asked us to do that. Chant the holy name. Slowly we will develop interest to read about Krishna, hear about Krishna more. Bhagavatam we will start appreciating, we will take shelter of Bhagavatam also. We will try to associate with devotees, hear from them also. That ruchi has to come before that Shraddha is required. So first put that faith, that first thing to understand is that we are drowning. If we have not understood that, then we will not make any attempts. You understood the point. So, if the risk is there, risk factor is clear, then goal is clear where you have to take shelter, which paths to take. The difficulty is that we are still stuck up. We are having hope. Whereas Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, this place is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. So where is the Shashvat place we should inquire? If this is Ashashvat, there must be a Shashvat place somewhere. Where is that place? That's what scriptures are saying. Come to my abode. Krishna is inviting us. Do away with your business, whatever you are doing here, it's not going to help you. It's further going to entangle you in karma. Chanting helps us first to, those knots, loosens those knots, and then we have to put more effort. We have to show to Krishna that we are serious. And then he is anyway noticing everybody. regardless of whether we make an attempt or not, he's observing us. He'll be more keen, as once Madhu Pandit Prabhu was also sharing, that he will immediately make a note in a diary. This is a little serious case. Thank you. We'll stop here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.